Good evening. There were extraordinary scenes in the heart of Canberra today as the Prime Minister and opposition leader were trapped inside a restaurant by angry protesters. They had to be rescued by the riot squad as activists from a nearby tent embassy surrounded the building and brought an Australia Day ceremony to a frightening close.
In the middle of that wedge, Julia Gillard and Tony Abbott and a mad dash for the safety of a getaway car. The only thing between them and an angry, raging mob were police with shields. The Prime Minister, cradled by an officer, lost a shoe, stumbled slightly in the mayhem. A moment of terror captured here on Julia Gillard's face. Tony Abbott was pushed to the waiting car. When she got to the vehicle, you can see Julia Gillard shoved inside. And in a sign of the danger, the rear side of Mr Abbott bustled in beside her.
Get back! Stay back!
It was then the violence broke out as police tried to keep the protesters from the car and the car tried to get away. Finally, obviously shaken, the two leaders were sped to safety as police tried to beat back the surging crowd. Eventually, the police line held, the protesters backed away, the violence ended. On the 40th anniversary of the Aboriginal tent city, it was this comment by Tony Abbott in Sydney that sparked outrage in the capital.
I think it probably is time to move on from that.
Next door to the tent city celebrations at the Lobby restaurant, Mr Abbott and the Prime Minister were at an awards ceremony and the protesters found out. Julia Gillard and Mr Abbott and guests were virtual prisoners, surrounded and locked inside. This was the moment the Prime Minister's security told her it was time to get out.
Right, okay.
We feel that the situation could deteriorate if we stay too much longer.
Okay, all right. What about Mr Abbott? Where have we got him? Help him through too.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Julia Gillard then spoke briefly to Mr Abbott.
I think it would have been very easy for that blast to So would they like us to go straight away?
They'll let us know, but we'll just... no, I think I'm fine. We'll just put together when we're...
Sure.
Okay, no problem.
As police reinforcements poured in, and given little choice, our political leaders, under siege, took the risk and ran the gauntlet. The shoe the Prime Minister lost in the chaos is now in the protesters' possession, a trophy from a clash destined to become the image of Australia Day 2012. Lane Kelp.
Lane's live from the tent embassy in Canberra. Lane, have you seen anything like these scenes before?
Peter, never anything like this. I've seen plenty of protests before, many of them violent, but to see the Prime Minister and the opposition leader locked in a room like that and having to run for their own safety was quite extraordinary and really quite unnerving, to be frank. Now, the Prime Minister a short time ago shrugged it off, said she's fine. And to be fair, only a small fraction of the hundreds who'd gathered here at the tent embassy celebrations today actually took part in that protest. Peter?
OK, Lane, thank you for that.